And tonight on CNN, we're going to talk about the Kirchner Institution for Kleptomania and Schizophrenia. We're going to talk about a person, but his name is Alexander, and he has schizophrenia.
Hello, my name is Alexander George Campbell. You aren't gonna show this to anybody, right? You aren't gonna do any of that, right? Okay. I was reading about this thing that so we all know that the government, that they're watching us, and what they're gonna do with all this information, they're gonna, like, Google's also in on this. Like, all the information people they're in on this. They're gonna try to put all of our collective consciousness. They're all watching us, okay? So they're gonna do all that, and all the elites are in on this too, because they're all watching us, and they try to condition us. We're close to breaking it. More people are getting out of it, but it really is. They really are out there.
Bernie's, he's a bit special with his kleptomania and schizophrenia combined. That's actually what this institution's all about, It's all about treating this combination. He sometimes just takes random stuff. It's more mild than some of the other patients here. I had this one guy who stole a fence from some 40-year-old guy. I don't even know how he did it. He brought it in one day to his apartment. It was weird. Bernie doesn't usually do that. If he does take something, it's our property, so it's not a big deal. But schizophrenia, that's the important thing here. Bernie is still a bit young. He's only 17, so it recently developed. The youngest age for it is actually 16. He developed it right before his 17th birthday, so that was a bit early for him. His family had to adjust. Bernie's never really been quite the same, but I think we're helping him get back on the right track here. When he was 14, he was actually arrested for stealing. He stole nothing really big, just some stuff from a 7-Eleven. He got a criminal record. That's how actually we found him. Because when he was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia, he also had this, this secondary disorder, and he was recommended to us for that. He exhibits a lot of the more basic symptoms, auditory and visual hallucinations. Sometimes he'll hear someone calling his name, sometimes he'll hear just some basic things. Nothing really that bad. Sometimes he has a visual hallucination, but we haven't had him experience any of that while he was with us. I'm not sure if it's because of the medication or the treatment, or he just doesn't have them that often. It's really hard to tell with these sorts of cases, especially when he's only had it for about a year now. So, Bernie's currently on not anything that serious, but he is on some antipsychotics. He doesn't really like taking them pill form because he thinks we're feeding him some sort of government truth serum or something. We're not. Again, he's only been with us for like 6 months. We're not really sure what's going on with him yet. We haven't had that long-term analysis, but we think we've been giving him some basic antipsychotics in the form of chili. Actually, it's his favorite. We basically break up the pill and mix it in with the bowl. It kind of mitigates the effectiveness, but it's all we can really do at this point until we can get him some more long-term help. Bernie actually has some, how do I put it, like jitters, some basic jitters. That's common with people with paranoid schizophrenia. He moves around a bit. He isn't able to keep his focus. That's some of the more basic stuff. You can actually tell when someone has paranoid schizophrenia, early on, if they have these sort of things. If they're moving around a lot, they're not really able to keep still or able to focus on one thing. It's pretty easy to tell when you're paying attention. It's okay. It's okay. Bernie, it's okay. It's okay. Bernie, it's okay. Bernie, I'm not trying to choke you. It's okay. You don't have. It's fine. There's no government. All right, Bernie, that's enough TV for today. We need to get back to therapy. That's enough TV for today, Bernie. The difference between schizophrenia and kleptomania is actually pretty great, because kleptomania is more of like, it's not inherited at all. It's not biological. It's something that develops in your mind over time because of all that dopamine. Like, you steal something, you get a dopamine hit. That sort of continues over and over until eventually you become addicted to stealing. That's all kleptomania is. Schizophrenia, on the other hand, is more like, it's biological. It's inherited. There's probably some gene somewhere in the genome making it happen. We don't know where it is, though, so we can't cure it. Schizophrenia is basically just your mind not connecting the dots right. Schizophrenia and kleptomania is actually caused by the same thing, dopamine, and it's an excess of dopamine, actually. It's just that in schizophrenia, it's built into your brain to have that constant, like, oversaturation of dopamine, like, constantly. It's just something that will just plague you. It'll start developing around when you're a teenager, and you're stuck with it for the rest of your life. You will have schizophrenia until the day that you die. And you can mitigate the symptoms. You can maybe live a normal life, depending on how severe it is, but you will always have schizophrenia. There's nothing to do about it. Is the kleptomania, you can actually move past it. You can actually get pretty close to being cured. You'll never be fully gone with it either, but not in the same way as schizophrenia. You can go basically the rest of your life without stealing. As with schizophrenia, you can never be sure if you'll have another hallucination or another paranoid episode. You'll never be truly free of it, as unlike kleptomania. Our founder, Daniel DeCurcio, God bless his soul, put a lot of time and effort to making sure that the people who were under his care got the right help. He was also, really terrible to them and abused them, but we've moved beyond that. We've moved beyond that. The lawsuits didn't go through, all right? I like to think about DeCurcio for inspiration, for motivation. We actually have a big picture of him outside in the foyer, where all the staff just sort of looks at him and just sort of remembers, Sometimes at night, I like to think about DeCurcio and just, yeah. He's special to me. He's really special. There's actually two different types of symptoms with paranoid schizophrenia. It's schizophrenia as a whole, but there is positive and negative symptoms. Positive just means we can treat it. We can almost mitigate them completely. There are symptoms we figured out, and we have methods of helping the patients move beyond them. Negative symptoms are symptoms we don't really have any treatment for. There's a lot of those, like the hallucinations, we don't really have any effective medicine. Paranoid episodes, they're impossible to predict, and you can't really do anything about them. You just sort of got to keep the patient calm and make sure they don't hurt themselves or others. If a patient has a lot of positive symptoms, they can actually live a normal life. They don't even, as long as they take their medication and they see their doctor and they keep checks and they keep cut. A lot of positive symptoms can actually live a pretty normal life. As long as they keep the medication and see their doctor and their psychologist or whatever they need to see, they'll be fine. A patient with a lot of negative symptoms will probably need to stay, well, not institutionalized, just under someone's watch most of the time. Some with more extreme symptoms might need to stay just drugged and sedated their whole lives. If you go to a place where there's a lot of schizophrenics being held, like a group home or something like that, it's not uncommon to see a patient who's just completely out of it, like catatonic, because of the medication they have to take just to not hurt themselves. or their nurses, or the people, or the other patients around them. So Bernie, how have you been feeling today?
I'm doing good as I can.
All right. Bernie, have you been seeing anything, hearing anything recently? How have your symptoms been acting up at all?
What do you mean seeing things? You see them too. You no. You see them. You're lying. They're there. Look.
Now, Bernie, there's no reason to get all excited. Just calm down a bit. Just calm down, Bernie.
No, I am not going to calm down. I am not going to calm down. I am tired of this institution trying to coerce me, trying to restrain me, trying to condition me. I am tired of it all. I am tired. I am tired of it all.
Bernie.
I am tired of it all.
Bernie. Okay. Get out of the pool. You're coming out of the pool. Calm down.
No, let go
Coming out
of
of the
me.
pool.
No.
Don't die on me, Bernie. Okay, I'm really sorry about that. I didn't think it was that bad. We're gonna put some more time into giving him new medications. We're gonna make sure we understand this better with him. I'm really sorry about this. This really shouldn't have happened. He got really crazed today. He had a really bad episode. You know. He's doing fine. People with schizophrenia, they don't usually like to kill themselves unless when they're during the episode. But you know, he's a danger to himself. What are you gonna do? We're taking good care of him, so don't worry.
Alexander had made a full recovery after this episode. With new medication and a psychologist, therapist, and Xander will return to a new life that's normal.